Matt Roller from ESPN Cricinfo. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Motti.
Hey, Matt.
Can I just ask about your approach as a team to knock out games and sort of how you're getting the players prepared for it? I think Joss has sort of often told players to embrace the fact that it is different and that it's not just another game.
Yeah, spot on. That's exactly what his message was in our meeting this morning. It's I think when we got through the Super 8s, I think it was a mixture of relief. I think we've been under the pump a little bit for the last couple of weeks, right from probably the washout against Scotland. I think we've probably got into that mentality. We've felt like we've needed to perform every game, and there's a general feeling that our best cricket is in front of us. I think we've been pretty good in patches. We've done some really good stuff over here, but we haven't put together that perfect game. So with a bit of luck, that happens against India. It's certainly going to be a great occasion. They're a very strong unit, and they present a massive challenge for us, but one that we're very excited to take on.
Has there been much sort of discussion internally about what happened in Adelaide a couple of years ago? Probably the most complete performance England have had in your tenure?
Yeah, probably the only thing that we've discussed is that we feel that they're a very different team to that semi-final. I think the way that they've approached it in the last couple of years is certainly taking the game on extremely hard in the power play. I think Rowett with the bat has led the way extremely well and shown leadership in that department, as has Joss for us. But I think it presents a really unique challenge for us. It's a venue we don't know well. We've obviously been armed with a lot of information, and we think we've got a squad to cover it, but there's a little bit of unknown about what we're going to get. And I think they've certainly played some really good cricket. So as we know with tournament play, though, it's not about no one remembers how the round matches went or the Super 8s. It's how you go in the semis and the finals, and we're excited about this unique challenge that we've got in front of us.
And just on Joss, since you mentioned him, he obviously did pretty well in Adelaide that time, but sort of came to life, I suppose, against the USA. Do you feel like this is a great opportunity for him in the next couple of games to create some history as a captain and lead from the front with the bat?
Yeah, I really do. I think Joss is, his leadership keeps evolving every day. I think, already as a player, he's got 2 world titles under his belt, which not many people have. He's captained one, and there's an opportunity for us to go further in this tournament, one that we're all relishing. He in particular looks at the top of his game, and when he's leading from the front and batting like that, every side feeds off that. I think we've got some great players around him that love the way he plays. But probably the most important thing is how much of our bowling groups evolved under his captaincy. I think from the game against Australia, where we got a few things wrong, I think from that point on, they've really shown the way and adapted the conditions extremely well.
Coach, congrats on making it to the semi-final. India have been here for 2 tours recently. A lot of the England players haven't been here in Guyana. In terms of familiarity to condition, do you think that you're probably starting with a slight disadvantage? And what information you've been able to gather about conditions here in Guyana?
Yeah, I don't think anyone starts at an advantage or disadvantage in a semi-final. I think it's who adapts the quickest. I think you can come in with preconceived ideas, but our mantra has always been playing what's in front of us. So the intel that we can get in those first couple of overs, whether it's with the bat or the ball, that's been a real strong suit in this competition. The communication back and forth about what to expect, what ends to maybe target with the wind. I've arrived today. There's no wind today, but we can expect that there will be some wind. And probably the key advantage for us is having someone like Corin Pollard in our camp, whose intel on all the islands and what we can expect has been invaluable. He's got a great presence within our group and the way he goes about it. So, look, I think both teams, we're going to go out there and throw punches at each other for 40 odd overs. So it's going to be a great contest. I think it's the contest that everyone's wanted to see, and we're excited by it.
2 at the front here, please.
Coach, how do you see India's vulnerability in knockout matches or in finals in recent years?
I think what India's done incredibly well over the last few years is put themselves in semi-finals contention, and the flip side to that is when you don't win, people look at that as a negative. But I think the consistency that they've shown over a length of time shows what a great group of players they are. And like anyone, when you get to the semi-final stage, every team and the 4 teams out here all think they're a chance to win it. And there's small margins. So if you take those key moments at the right time, you get over the line. If you don't, you go home. So everyone knows the consequences of missing out, but also the potential to go through, play 2 really good games and you go away the title. So our tournament really starts tomorrow. We're excited by, we know their players well, they know us well. It literally is going to come down to a couple of bounces of the ball, or luck and timing at the right times.
Coach, what is the main reason for spinners being so successful in this tournament? What kind of impact you expect in tomorrow's match as far as spinners are concerned?
Yeah, it's a great question, because I think the perception that this ground spins is actually not right. I think if you look at the spin numbers, it's not the biggest spinning ground, but spin is used a lot, so it's obviously effective here. I think from what we're reading into it, it's more to do with the lack of bounce. So clearly, if you're bowling spin and you're bringing the wickets into play, it's harder to get away. And if you stay there, which both spin bowling units will do, I'm sure, and they'll make it harder for the batsman, to access behind the wicket. So you can shut off certain parts of the ground. I think that's probably why it's been effective, and the sheer quality of the spin that's on display is obviously come to the fore throughout the tournament.
We'll take 3 more in the hub, and then in the room, and then we'll go to the hub.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Coach, when you say that this Indian team is different from the one that you faced in Adelaide 2022, what exactly would you mean? Is it their batting, is it their bowling, or is it the general outlook of the team?
Well, I think when we go back to that semi-final, obviously on a good pitch in Adelaide, we put India in, and it was a risk. But I thought we felt that they weren't sure what a good score was. I think the approach now is they would come at us hard and try and maximise that, maybe try and put it out of our reach. I think you've got 2 great batting lineups. The bowlers are all class as well. So it's just going to come down to, on the day, as we said earlier, who sums up those conditions the quickest, and who can put the opposition on the back foot first and carry that momentum through.
Go ahead.
Matthew, the fact that after that England-Australia game, you have practically been in a must-win situation in every game. Does that put the team in great confidence ahead of this obvious knockout semi-final game? Yeah,
coming in, certainly it does, I think, and I spoke after the game that the treachery of group stages is there for everyone to see. You've just got to find a way to get through. It's not really until you get to the semi-finals and the finals that you sometimes open your eyes up to expanding your horizons, playing that brand of cricket that we want to be renowned for. And I think both teams, whenever you get the semi-final phase, the first part is relief, I think. You've got through the really gritty, determined, hard part that even in T20 is sometimes the game demands. And you come into semi-final. We feel like we've been galvanised by the situation we've been in. We've been sweating on weather, we've been sweating on other results. So it does feel like we can actually play with a fair bit more freedom in this semi-final and go out and really show our skills now and what we've got.
Last 2 here, please.
Matt, Josh Butler has shown a bit of vulnerability in the power play, at least going by the IPL records. Last season he was out in 8 times, this season 6 times, and before the 8th over he got about 7-8 times. Is that a kind of giveaway that Josh Butler may have given to the Indian team?
I think both him and Salty, Joss and Salty, have been a great combination for us over the 12 months. I think they work really well. When one's going, the other one can pull back and feed. I think that's been a real key for Phil Salt over the last 12 months. His breakthrough was over here in the West Indies, and their combination at the top is something that we regard as a super strength within this team. They're both outstanding players. They're both selfless players, and they play what the team needs. So genuinely, we're just excited what they can bring. If one misses out, we expect the other to do well. And then we've got some really good options that we can adapt and try and put pressure back onto India as well.
Last one, Debasis, and then we'll take some from the hub.
Mott, obviously, are you worried about the fact that Virat has not scored in the tournament so far? So perhaps a bit of vulnerability as far as Virat is concerned, to start with, in power play?
Oh, look, Virat's proven his class over a very long period of time. He's one of the players we've prepared well for. We know how he can play. We know how destructive he can be. And we also know his game smarts. If the game demands an innings of a different nature, he's got that skill. So he's definitely a key player for them. And like we've said throughout this tournament, what's happened throughout this tournament means nothing tomorrow when we face off against each other. Big players step up in the big moments. We're hoping our players do that. But you can expect him to do exactly the same.
I think we're going to go to the hub now. We'll take 2 questions if we have any from there. Can we just check if there's anything? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Coach. Will toss play an important role considering the weather conditions? And how is England preparing considering weather might impact the game and it would be a shorter game?
Firstly, I think the toss is important, but it's not everything. I think whatever we do, we have to do well in the first inning. So that's been the philosophy. We don't have a preconceived idea on what's going to be the best thing. Obviously, it's a day game, but there is weather around. There's always a case for a debate beforehand. In terms of the shortened game, we've obviously got extended time to play this game, so you'd like to think we can get the full game in. I haven't seen a weather report, but what we've done throughout this tournament is adapt to that. We've had some shortened games, we've had some opportunities to make sure we switch on at the right time, so I feel like if that was to happen, we're in a really good space to adapt to that.
And one more from the hub, please.
Hi, Matthew. Could you also talk us a little bit about Will Jacks? He's someone who started the tournament with you and then has moved out of the team. With the considerations of the pitch, is he someone who, if called upon, he could add a little bit to the team in these conditions in the semi-final?
Yeah, I think Jaxie's obviously been very unlucky to miss out, and a lot of that's gone down to the balance that we've gone with, and it's something we don't shy away from. I think there's a lot of good players who've missed out throughout this tournament, but one of the real strengths is players who've missed out coming back in as well, so he's definitely in contention. We haven't finalised the final 11 at the moment, but I think he can take a lot of comfort from someone like Chris Jordan, who came out of the team and then played such a stunning display in the last game as well. So if he gets that opportunity, I'm sure he'll be able to relish it.
Thank you. Cheers, Matthew.
Thanks, guys.
One chance is everything we've waited for. It's our time, so let we take it home.